Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to explain to you how a life insurance policy can become an investment. Life insurance policies are truly remarkable in their ability to provide individuals and their loved ones with invaluable peace of mind and financial security. They safeguard against uncertainties of life by transferring the risk from a life assured to a company who can afford that risk, while simultaneously serving as a powerful tool for wealth accumulation and legacy planning. Today, I'm going to explain to you how a life policy can become an investment and what to look out for when making this decision. I'm going to show you a real-life case study where this is applicable. Let me give you some background on this case. In this case, the family was a family of 5. It was a husband, wife, and 3 adult children. The husband had cover on himself and on his wife, which he paid. The husband passed away. The husband was the sole breadwinner, and the wife was left with this policy. The wife, who is now a widow, couldn't afford the policy anymore. The adult children had the ability to afford this policy on their mom's behalf if they carried on. The widow and the adult children approached me for help to assist and make a decision on this policy. I wasn't the advisor on the policy at the time. Affordability was not going to be an issue for the children to carry on with this policy of 1,094 Rand and 2 cents, but the affordability was going to be an issue if the widow was going to carry on with the payments. You can see that this policy is paid to date February 2019. In other words, it was still in force. A very important factor was that this policy was a level premium policy. If you look at the premium type, this means that the policy doesn't have exponential or very large increases as you become older. Below the level premium section, you can see ACI and ABI. Those are the annual contribution increases on the policy, as well as the annual benefit increases on the policy. The client's date of birth is 21 December 1958. If I can just reiterate the point that this is the widow, this is the wife of the husband that passed away. The beneficiary on this policy used to be the husband, the one that passed away, but the husband has now passed away, so preferably this client would want to change that beneficiary to either children or whoever she wants to make the beneficiary. If you look at the bottom of the policy, there's a life cover of 1,459,969.74 cents. There is no maturity or expiry date. In other words, this cover can last for as long as the policy is in place. The client was 61 years of age at this stage. After my analysis, I came back to the family and I suggested that the cover be kept, and I gave several reasons for that, which I'll point out now when I show my calculations. My second suggestion was to cancel the ACI and ABI, which is the contribution increase and benefit increase every year. Ideally, one would want to keep that so the cover goes up every year. But in this case, affordability was a factor, and I thought that sustainability of the policy will be the most important. Big reason why this policy is profitable was because a level premium was paid for a very long time, and this means that the husband that passed away sacrificed a lot of funds in the beginning since 2007 by paying a higher premium in order for the premium not to escalate as much later in the policy term where we are now. Let's look at the figures to see why this policy becomes a good investment. So the policy cost is in this column here, 1,094 Rand and 2 cents. The client's age, this was the year 2019, and this is each passing year. Here you can see the annual cost of the policy every year, and here you can see the accumulated cost every year, accumulated spend. So after year 2, you've spent 26,000 Rand, etc., etc. If we go down, even to age 90, if the client turns 90 years old, you've spent 393,000 Rand on this policy. However, the policy payout, the life cover amount, remember on the policy summary that I've shown, 90 years old, the policy amount still pays out 1.4 million. Now we should take into consideration, what if you invested this money into an investment? I'm going to have 3 different scenarios. This scenario shows us the 6% return per annum. And then I've got a 9% and a 10% that I'll show you as well. So if this if you had to put this money away monthly and you get a return of 6% per annum, you can see here the one with 6% per annum is slightly more than the accumulated spend. In other words, it includes growth. And if you go down to, let's say, age 90, you would have had about 1 million Rand, 1,100,000 almost, if you put the money away every month. And here you can see the death on the policy would pay out more. It's almost a 45% increase in what you would have gotten on a 6% per annum growth. This blue line shows you the difference between the accumulated spend and what the life cover pays out. See that round about here, age 96. I doubt very few people get to age 96. You can see you would have still made 987,000. On the 6% per annum scenario, we compare this column with this one, and then this is the difference. Let's say the client dies at age 80. It would still be 954,000 Rand in the green. In other words, more than what you would have gotten in an investment. And the break-even point, in other words, where both of them become the same, is age 94, 95 or 34, 35 years into the policy. Remember, this is a whole life policy. So this policy doesn't have an expiry date. You can pay it as long as you want. Now we are looking at the 9% per annum scenario. We've already discuss the accumulated spend compared to the profit loss spending versus the amount of money that pays out on life. Let's look at the 9% scenario. After 10 years, you would have spent 131. An investment with 9% per annum growth would have been on 211,000 Rand total value. The difference is 1.2 million. Let's look at the break-even point. If the client dies at age 87, then you would have had the same return on investment as an investment with 9% per annum. Now, it's likely that someone can die at 74, 72, 70. It's less likely statistically that someone lives past this age. I think the average life expectancy figures, you can just Google it. In South Africa, it's quite low compared to the rest of the world. But on average, even on world averages, I think every female's life expectancy, if I remember correct, is around about 84. Okay, and now for the 10% scenario. This column shows us the 10% return per annum on an investable amount of 1,094 Rand per month. Let's see, after 10 years, age 70 of the client, you would have had 224,000 Rand in an investment if you spent it on an investment rather than on this life policy. And if the person dies at that age, you would be 1.2 million up or 1.2 million better off than an investment. Let's see where the break-even point is. Age 86. Age 86 is still a very late age. And that just shows you why a policy like this can be a very good investment. And an investment as such is with all respect to the life assured that will have to pass away for this policy to pay out. But the life assured would want to leave a legacy. And if the children can take over a policy like this, or another family member that the life assured might want to benefit from this, then why not do it? Because if the life assured can't afford it, then give someone else the opportunity to pay it on your behalf if that is your wish. If we had to calculate the return on investment on this for every year, it will be quite massive. Imagine putting 13,000 Rand into a product and getting 1.4 million Rand out. Imagine putting 131,000 Rand into a product and getting 1.4 million Rand out. That's almost 1,000% return right there. Even at age 80 in this case, you put 262,000 in and you get 1.4 million. That's a big return. Compared to a 10% return per annum, age 80, age 30 gives you slightly less than double the return you would have gotten on a 10% return per annum.